Welcome back to Pace Immigration, paceimmigration.com, talking about the EB-5 today with Andy Semotiuk. Andy, good to see you.
Hi, Sean. Let's get rocking here.
Okay, so we got the EB-5. We've got your top 7 considerations when investing in an EB-5 regional center project. People can find a text version of this in your Forbes column online, but we thought we'd bring it to the people and summarize it in video. Your top 7 considerations when investing in the EB-5. Number 1, we have viability of the project. Talk about that.
Okay, so not every project is good for the investor. It depends on the investor and, of course, on who's running the project. So you have to be very careful on choosing what project you're going to be investing in. Now, we're talking here about the regional center projects. We're not talking about EB-5 direct investing today. So on the regional center projects, there are probably about 600 of them out there. So you have to choose between them, and not everyone is the same. So that's the point here. By the way, this is a team effort. You have to consult your immigration attorney, of course, but also financial advisors and tax planners to get the project right to get going.
Okay, so you can't just invest in any old project. It's got to be right for you. It's got to be right for what you want to do with your money. I guess, Andy, we should also talk about the money really quickly because things have been in flux for a little while now. What is the investment here?
The investment is $800,000, probably for a period of about 5-6 years as part of the Regional Center Project program.
Okay, let's go on to number 2, the considerations when investing. For the investor, it's about living and working in the United States or investing in a business, that kind of thing. But the U.S. wants something out of it too, and what they want is jobs.
Right. Actually, 2 things, jobs and money. Investment in the United States, in the projects, of course. But a key thing is hiring American workers. And they want at least 10 workers hired for each investor that gets involved in the EB-5 program. And of course, you want to have a buffer. You don't want to have just 10 jobs because that's a criteria for getting your green card. You want to have a few more than 10. And in the regional center case, they count not only direct jobs that are created, but also indirect jobs. So just to give an example, if you are building a hotel and let's say there's a Starbucks across the street, you might be able to count some of the jobs at the Starbucks as part of the job creation calculation when getting an idea of how many jobs you're creating per investor.
Excellent insight there. I had never even heard that before. That's excellent insight.
Yeah.
Number 3, the processing times. Everything with immigration, we talk about how long does it take. That's what people want to know. And of course, processing times, it's no different with the EB-5.
Yes. Now, generally speaking, the median time for EB-5 investor immigration processing time has been 4 years. It's pretty long. However, there are some key regional center projects now that deserve what's called priority processing. And these are the so-called set-aside EB-5 regional center projects. They involve investments in infrastructure, in high unemployment areas, and in rural development projects. Rural means less than 20,000 people living in the area. In such set-aside projects, processing times, by definition, are going to take a priority. Now, priority is not defined. It's just said, they say it's a priority. But we're assuming that those who are involved in this area, that means it's going to be more. It's going to take less than 4 years to get an investor through, perhaps 2 years, or what we can't say for sure. But that's because it's early. We're just getting involved in this, so we don't know what the exact processing time is going to be, but it's going to be a priority. And a key thing here also is, even if you're in the 4-year stretch, a key thing is under the new legislation, there's what's called concurrent processing that is allowed, which means if you invest in a EB-5 project, regional center project, and you are in the United States, you can apply to get an employment authorization and travel permission, so that your life is essentially as if you already have a green card by having these rights that accrue to you through concurrent processing. When you file your application, you're filing at the same time an application to adjust your status from your current status in the United States to a green card through the regional center program. So that's a huge advantage for anybody in the United States and is going to be an investor in an EB-5 program.
So the two things there that you're pointing out, just to recap, to speed things up for yourself, is one, if you're in the United States, you get a leg up, and number two, if you're looking at one of the priority projects.
Exactly right. Those are two magic buttons, so to speak.
All right. Liquidity and currency risks is your number 4 tip. We talk about this a lot too. The EB-5 investments typically have a long investment horizon, so it's not like you're going to get money back right away. I mean, your money has to be at risk, and it could be at risk for a while.
Yes. We're talking about commercial projects, like any other commercial project. It might be a hotel, gas station, convenience store, apartment building, whatever it is. Your money's going to be tied in there, and it's usually for 5 or 6 years roughly in terms of getting your money back. That's the normal time period, although there is some indication that there may be speeded up return of money involved in these new projects that are now being undertaken. But I think generally we should say you can expect a 5 or 6 year horizon for the return of your money. And in addition, among the risks that you've identified here on this particular slide are the currency exchange risks. So for example, if you're from, say, China or India and you're investing in the United States, the currency rates can change, and that can have an impact on how much money you're going to get back. So that's one example of another kind of a risk that you're involved in when you're getting into an EB-5 program.
Okay, number 5, interest rates and market risks. We're talking a lot about risk. I think it's kind of worth mentioning. And in some other parts of the world, there are, residency by investment or citizenship by investment programs. I know Canada's still talking about the Quebec thing, where the money isn't really at risk. But it's worth pointing out often that in the EB-5, your money is indeed at risk.
Yes. Now, we got to talk about risk. Let's cover the points here you're raising in the slide, the interest rates and market risks. Interest rates could climb, the industry could change, skill shortages in the labor market, etc. However, when we deal with risk, commercial risk, we have to put it into context. There's no such thing in life without risk. You get on a plane, it could crash, you could, walking across the street, etc. So it's a matter of managing risk and being reasonable about the risk. There's no reward without risk. Every reward involves some risk. So even a government guarantee, who says the government isn't going to go bankrupt or that there's going to be some instability or whatever? So even there's risk. So it's a matter of taking a reasonable assessment of the risks, being aware of what the risks are, and then deciding, is this manageable? Is this something acceptable for me as an investor? And over the years, since 1990, 10,000 visas a year, investors have decided that, yes, while there are risks, this program is a worthy program of investing, and choosing the right projects can result in a good, satisfactory, well, first of all, getting the green card and permanent residence in the United States and getting your money back, and in some cases, even earning interest on the money invested.
Excellent points, Andy. Number 6, we have to talk about it, taxes. There's tax considerations. The U.S. taxes worldwide income of permanent residents. That's a big deal.
It is. Worldwide income could be substantial for many investors. So they want to plan their tax impact in terms of getting into the United States. This is, again, a team effort, And the key player here is your tax advisor. And you need tax planning as you're coming to the United States to minimize your tax exposure. There's the estate taxes also on your death if you die. There's the question of how much of your worldwide assets may be exposed to U.S. estate taxes. But again, people, when consulting with their accountants, can come up with a tax plan to minimize the taxes involved.
Number 7, source and path of funds. They basically want to know that your money is legitimate and that you haven't been putting your peanut butter in the chocolate, as it were. You shouldn't be blending your accounts and blending your money. They want to see a straight path, and it's got to be a good one.
I love peanut butter and chocolate. That's a wonderful analogy. And it's exactly right. We have to keep all the funds segregated and clean. Every penny has to be clean. So we advise, for example, if someone is selling, let's say, an apartment building to get the money to invest in an EB-5 program, that they open a new bank account and take the sale proceeds and deposit them into a new bank account, untarnished, but whatever other monies might be in the bank account from other sources that may not be easily sorted out as being clean sources. So this way you keep it nice and clean. The money coming from the sale goes into a bank account and then is paid out along the way through to the investment. And that involves the path of the travel of the money as well. We want to keep that nice and clean and untarnished by other funds coming through or using irreputable financial intermediaries in getting the money to the project.
And you can help people with all of this, Andy. I mean, when they contact you, I know you're not, a tax advisor per se or anything like that, but you can help steer them in the right direction.
Yes. We work with a variety of people in the industry dealing with tax or dealing with the financial side of things, etc. And we can help investors find suitable advisors to deal with all the issues that they may face. I just want to reiterate, look,
sure,
we focused on the risks involved and all the things you should really be concerned about. But don't forget, America is a great place to invest. People make a lot of money, including people I know who have been in the EB-5 program, have been very happy with the fact that they got their green cards. They're living in the United States, making a killing. They've long since forgotten who Andy Semotiuk was, who was helping them many years ago get their green card, on their way to multi-million-dollar incomes, etc. So there's all kinds of people, and keep everything in perspective is what I want to say in the end.
Who could forget? You don't forget the name, folks. It's Andy Semotiuk, Semotiuk at pacelawfirm.com. Thanks, Andy, for your 7 tips for EB-5 investment. We'll talk soon.
Thanks again, Sean.
Bye-bye.